Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bourbon Note. I'm Greg.
I'm Ben.
And today, we're drinking bourbon. All right, Ben, enough of this lightweight stuff. We need to kick it up a notch, all right?
All right.
Let's go barrel proof.
I've got one right here.
Let's do it.
This is perfect. It's timely as well because we have, bam. So this is the new Elijah Craig barrel proof. This is batch A-1 22.
And we are recording this in A-1 22.
Yeah. Well, not 122, it's 322 right now, but.
No, it's A1. Like, it's the first quarter. I don't know how it works.
So batch A is, they do A, B, and C.
Right.
The 1 is January and the 2022 is, or the 22 is for 2022.
Ah.
So, yeah, this came out in January. We just started seeing it around here in Minnesota a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I should say I've only seen it just this one. You saw...
I saw probably the exact same bottle.
I think it was probably same bottle because I was at the store the next day.
And I thought, you know what? I'll see it again. And I didn't because he bought it.
Yeah, I bought it the next day. So anyway, we have...
Top tip. Get a co-host to buy bottles for you occasionally.
Well, exactly.
I try not to do that always.
Yeah.
And I picked another one up that you saw and walked by, so
yeah,
we try to make it fair.
So the last one of these, well, the last couple of these that came out, I had 2 of last year's releases, and we just didn't get around. We did the first one, but the last one, the C20. Yeah, 921 or whatever it was, didn't get that until actually like a month ago.
Right.
So I had a couple opportunities to get it and I didn't. Mm-hmm. And then luckily I was able to still, someplace had some dusty bottles on the shelf for whatever reason. They had like 5 of them that nobody bought.
And for some reason, you don't want to do a review of like a 2-year-old like limited release because people bought it, they moved on.
Yeah, it's nice. Kind of done and over with. And so...
I don't know, I mean...
Well, I mean, the bottle is as far as like it being new, like you were just saying. So we wanted to make sure we did this one as soon as we could, and I just got this bottle. I've been itching to open it, but I wanted to open it on the channel.
That's right. That's another top tip. If you want to slow down your bourbon drinking, have a co-host who's always busy and can't find time to record.
I wouldn't say it's slowed down my bourbon drinking.
Well, your opening of opening of new bottles. How's that?
For sure. Yeah. So this one comes in at 120.8 proof. So
wow.
Last year and so far this year, these have all been...
Well, they used to be like 136.
Yeah, I think you've got one from a couple years ago that's like 136 or 7 or something. So they've been relatively low. Now 120 is still a nice proof point.
Moderately low.
It's kind of, that last year I think one of them was 118. Mm-hmm. And then now, so we were starting out this year with the 120. I know last year's did not get the greatest accolades. I enjoyed them, but...
You know, I wonder if it's like... A couple years ago, they were considered maybe the best bourbon ever in the history of the world.
Really?
Yeah, there's certain people, certain reviewers just absolutely love, and I do too.
They're fantastic.
Yeah, so they're excellent. So I'm curious what this one's gonna be like, because obviously, you know, every year seasonal changes. So I'm gonna smell it.
It's really rich and sweet on the nose.
Very rich, very sugar forward.
Yeah, there's maybe some chocolate going on there. It's got kind of some of the standard caramels. Mm-hmm. It's oaky, but it's a 12-year bourbon.
Is it actually age stated?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all the bourbons
that's right.
are.
Yeah.
And so, you know what's weird is I don't get why they don't, everybody loves the age statement. It says it on the side, 12 years old, non-chill filtered. Why don't they display that?
It's one of those things. Yeah.
It's like they're almost too cool for it now.
Exactly.
It's like we don't need to do that.
Yeah. I mean, they'll put it on there, thankfully. You know.
Yeah.
We're glad it's there.
I
agree. It. But it's not like some bourbon with a gigantic 6 years old, you know, and they're proud of it.
Yeah. Or if they put like Dickel does with like 8 and 12 where it doesn't actually mean anything.
Yeah, thanks for that.
All right. So yeah, this is really, I mean, so far so good. I had some of that last batch not too long ago because I just opened that bottle up.
Sure.
And I liked it, but I wasn't blown away by it. Mm-hmm. And so
I'm really curious what the higher proof does too, because Elijah Craig in general is just really good. It's a well-balanced, solid bourbon. So, all right, I'm going for it.
Let's do it. Oh yeah, that's really good.
So I have some thoughts. This one's interesting.
Go ahead.
Great flavors.
Yeah. Just right off the bat, it just hits you nice and rich, solid, balanced.
Like really, really great flavors. Lots of flavors. But maybe, so here's my curiosity. Because obviously the alcohol really cuts through that and you get the burn straight from the alcohol. I wonder what this would be like at 100. You know what I mean? Like where it's just maybe, that's my one concern with the really high cask strength ones is sometimes the alcohol maybe slightly ruining some of the flavors.
Well, it's about the balance because you're hiring the proof and you're hiring the flavors along with it. Yeah. And at some point, maybe those just one wins out. Now they're going to stay level because no matter how much water you do or do not put in it, it's going to lower both of those evenly.
Yep.
But it's a matter of what was already there to begin with. Were the flavors winning out over the alcohol or was the alcohol winning out over the flavors? I think this has a really great balance of both. Because I love that nice strong alcohol punch and that bite. But it's got some really nice...
I'm also getting a lot of like the mature oak. Like,
yeah,
I am not surprised at all. It's 12 years. I'd forgotten that this bottle was, but...
Not over oak though.
I don't think over oak, but it's another one where it's aggressively oaked. Yeah.
I'm getting like some, it's nutty. I'm almost getting like on the nose a little more, some graham cracker and chocolate.
It's a little bit more toward the like the roasted peanuts kind of.
Yeah, it definitely is nutty. I mean, it's got that with Heaven Hill, you know. There's
sure. But then there is a kind of the sweetness from the graham cracker. You're right. Chocolate.
The curiosity is overwhelming me now.
Oh, which curiosity is that?
Well, I think, you know, I've got the, it's right there.
Oh, well,
you know.
You do own more than 2 glasses.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna have to do this.
So this is the C921?
C921, 120.2.
Oh.
So, I mean, it's virtually the same.
Well, this is 0.8. That's 0.6 difference.
Well, that's true. I'm just gonna pour a little bit of this. You pour as much as you want. So let's keep the new one on the right.
Okay.
Because I remember like liking this one, but not, to be honest, what I did is I opened this one and I compared it to a Knob Creek store pick. Because at the 120 proof point, they're 120.2, but exact same proof, 3 years difference. Mm-hmm. Obviously different distillery. But I put them up against each other and it wasn't, like this one didn't outright beat the, you know, the Knob Creek at $30 more, or you know,
$30 and much harder to find.
20 to 30, much harder to find. Yeah. So in that regard, I was a little bit like, you know, maybe I'll just, instead of worrying too much about these, stick with the Knob Creek store picks. But this one I feel like is bringing a lot. Not that a Knob Creek store pick couldn't probably hold up to this as well, but I just remember being like not underwhelmed, but just kind of like,
sure.
Is it worth the 70 to 80 that it costs around here?
Yeah, good question.
I don't feel like I'm getting as much richness on.
I feel like the nose on most bourbons kind of opens up, so it's kind of unfair to go back and forth because this one's been sitting out for a few minutes.
Yeah,
I'm trying to give this a fair.
Even right off the bat, like even on the nose, we didn't mention this, but like, you know, the kind of quintessential brown sugar note is there.
Yeah.
And just that sweetness. Not quite as much vanilla, to be honest.
Not as much sweetness. Not the kind of the rich caramel note is not, it's not as prominent at least.
Yeah, this is more like chocolate, brown sugar, some graham cracker and oak.
Pretty much.
Yeah, we're just missing that marshmallow.
Yeah.
But this, I feel like this is almost just oak, the C921. It's really oak forward.
If there's anything else there, it's way subdued underneath the ethanol and the oak.
And the reason, and we'll get to these in just a second, but the reason that I compared this to that particular Knob Creek store pick is because that one was extremely oak forward. Mm-hmm. And so I just wanted to try it out. All right, I'm gonna try that. This is C921 here.
Okay, I'll go for it too.
I mean, it's a good bourbon.
So this one's more chocolatey, in my opinion. I don't get that on the nose, but on the tongue, I definitely get more of a rich, chocolatey, buttery, kind of like wraps your tongue.
I can see it.
The ethanol kind of like vaporizes the flavors on the A-122. We'll try it again.
I'm getting much more of an oak sharpness on the C921. I can see a little bit of the chocolate. I don't know if I'm maybe getting it as much as you are.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when I'm going back to this one now, I'm not doing water between them. Just,
Yep.
like I'm swallowing a lot.
Well, you're drinking.
Well, I know, but it's almost like the
Well, you have a guitar playing in the background. It's okay. Like,
to just edit.
let it go. There was a movie where that song was like really popular, but I can't remember the name of it.
Frozen. Never seen it, but I'm going with definitely the A-122. I like better.
I think this one has maybe more sweetness. This one feels like it's not as sharp.
See, I'm getting the opposite. I'm getting a lot more sharpness on that. I'm getting, like, this one feels a little more basic, the C921. Like, it's really good.
When I say sharp, it has less ethanol kind of kick, even though the proof is about the same. But the flavors are more interesting on this one. But
on the A-120,
yeah, but the ethanol is also more of a kick. Like, it seems to be slightly more out of balance. I would say this is probably the more interesting bourbon. This is a little bit smoother, but still 120 proof.
See, I think the A-122 is more balanced. Well, I mean, maybe I shouldn't say that, because it's not that this one's out of balance, but the A-122 might have a little bit sharper of an ethanol, like you were saying, but this one really, that oak note comes through sharp to me, which I don't mind at all, but some people...
So I'm not getting the over-aged type oak. I mean, it's a ton of oak flavor. That's definitely obvious, but this one feels like, again, borderline over-aged.
Really?
Barely, like when I say borderline, I really mean not quite, but I would worry it, like 15 years, this would seem like it would be too long.
Yeah, I would agree. So on the C921, I get oak and peanuts, and that's really all I'm getting. I mean, it's got the basic sweetness of a bourbon. Sure. But it's oak and salted peanuts. And that's where I'm getting that sharpness from, whereas the new one, it's got a little more of that graham cracker chocolate, brown sugar.
I think there are more flavors happening, and they mostly work well together. And now that I've had several sips, it's maybe, it's hard to say, your tongue gets blown out after just a bunch of...
And we weren't doing water between because they're so similar.
Yep.
But them being so similar in the sense that they're from the same distillery, it's the same bourbon at almost the identical proof, same age, but there is a big difference between the flavor.
Yeah, there's a distinction.
Noticeable.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I would say if I were choosing between two, this is definitely the more interesting one.
The A-122. Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. But I think they're both great. Now, like I was saying when I compared the C921 to the Knob Creek.
Something else, yeah.
This one I got for 70, this one I got for 80. The new one was 80. And that it varies by $10 around here. I've never seen them more than that.
I think so.
But I think $70 is kind of standard for these. So paying 80 for it is not ridiculous, you know. But, and maybe we'll have to do a video on this.
I think we should leave this here and maybe pick that topic up as a specific flight where we say you could have this or
this for X amount of dollars.
Let's do that as a video.
Yeah, I like the idea of doing that. But in any case, these are both excellent. I really like both of them.
Yep.
I kind of got into the Elijah Craig barrel proof game last year because how that coincided with me getting into bourbon and then being able to find them.
Yep.
When I first got into bourbon, I remember seeing them on the shelf.
Of course.
And I'm like, I'm not gonna buy a 135 proof bourbon. What would I, because I was new to it, you know?
Yep.
So I kind of got into it on the run of them that didn't get the best accolades. I think they're great, but I definitely think this one so far is a step up. And it being at the same proof, having that much kind of more interesting flavor, at least in my opinion, I think is pretty awesome.
Totally.
All right, well, this has been Elijah Craig Barrel Proof
And barrel proof.
and Barrel Proof on the Bourbon Note. I'm Ben.
I'm Greg. Cheers.